So we have a list of questions here, and one of the ones that we started with last time, and I think it's worth hitting on. You've heard this 1,000 times. How do you buy a home? Where does it? If I'm renting, how do I go about buying a home?
First thing is call JR. Let's get you pre-approved. That's important because one, we find out what your budget is, what you can afford, what kind of closing costs you're going to have to bring to the table. It may be zero, it may be $1,000, it may be a little bit more. JR is the one that can answer that. And then second, what type of loan? Like, all of these things are very important, trying to figure out where we need to start. Once we figure that out, what's your needs? What's your wants? What location do you want? And then when we have that, let's start shopping.
Right, that's where the fun begins.
Yes.
Not to put the cart before the horse, but you get the pre-approval, you spend the time with the buyer in the beginning, helping them better understand the financing is my job. And I think if we do that well, then they run with a lot of confidence, so that when you find them the perfect home, there's not much wishy-washy. It's like they're ready to move because they have that fewer questions on the back end of how things are going to look. So we've got a lot of success with that. You're very good at slowing the transaction down long enough for us to get the pre-approval and understand that before we move too far ahead. So kudos to you for that.
And I wanted to point on, it looks really good to sellers too. Whenever you make an offer and you follow that offer right behind that with a pre-approval letter. I mean, that is really
ready to go.
Yeah, gold star right there.
And let's take that one further step. Like, a lot of banks call a pre-approval, a pre-qualification, a pre-approval.
Absolutely.
Pre-qualification is when you just talked to the client, got some information, pulled credit. If everything the client said was true without any sway, then most of the time that's fine. But let's face it, we have tax returns and deductions and things like maybe child support that come into play in the 11th hour, and that I didn't know isn't a good excuse,
Yes.
in the 11th hour. So I think, again, that's good advice.